All right, welcome. Now, I don't usually make mindset videos because honestly, I think mindset's just wishy-washy, crap, bullshit, wank, pointless. It doesn't actually do anything. My whole brand and the whole reason I made this channel was to give tangible, hands-on fucking instructions so you can do exactly what you need to. Like, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this. Don't fuck this up exactly how I say so that you can't fuck anything up. However, yesterday I was just laying there, as you do, fresh off a blowjob, story of my life. And I was thinking, with a clear mind, how did I get to this position? Because there's loads of mindset tricks and hacks and methods and ways and sayings in order to get to certain places. And I sort of narrowed it down to one sentence, thank you, which I have now tweeted, and I want to talk about it because as much as I don't like mindset, as much as I don't like talking about it, I do think this is going to help some of you. Now, let me find it. Where the fuck was it? And you can write this down, or if you don't write it down, at least fucking pay attention to it, okay? Because it is important. What the fuck happened to the camera? Is that zooming in? Hang on. Nope, we're still recording. I just zoomed the fuck out for some reason. Anyway. Yeah, so, the tweet goes like this. You have to be more scared of mediocrity than you are of failure. I'm going to say that again. You have to be more scared of mediocrity than you are of failure. And I was sitting down and I was thinking about this and I was like, I can remember for the longest time, way before I got to this position, I was just terrified of being mediocre. Like the sense of mediocrity in and of itself felt like it was being plastered on my fucking forehead. And just the sense of that being a reality was too scary for me to fucking sleep at night. And that's the decision you're gonna have to make. You know, you can decide to be this mediocre person that goes through life without taking any risks and accepting the life that society gives you. Or you can take the occasional risk and you can take the occasional path which isn't natural or isn't given to you by your elders, and you can go and do something else. And ultimately, if you're gonna do one of them, it's gonna require risk. And that's what I decided to do. Now, it's funny because yesterday, I mean, I don't use Snapchat. I think if you use Snapchat, you're a pedophile, especially if you're over 23. But I use it occasionally, and one of my friends messaged me for the first time in like 2 months. And the fucking only thing he said, literally, was a picture of him with a headset on in his office, looking depressed as fuck. And the little words on the screen was, "I hate my 9 to 5, life sucks, fuck this." And all I could think was, you completely deserve that. Now, he's my mate, so obviously I didn't say that. I thought it, but like I didn't say it to him. And I was just like, you deserve that completely. He is living a mediocrity lifestyle. He's living a mediocre lifestyle, like a lot of you are probably living. You're sitting there, and you're just probably living lives that you don't quite enjoy. But I'm telling you now, the reason you're living it is because you're more comfortable living that mediocre lifestyle than you are taking a risk which might actually end up in a circumstance which you're not quite happy with. I'm telling you now, this is how it works. You need to look at your scenario, and if you're more uncomfortable with doing something you don't like over the scenario you're currently in, that's how it's gonna be. The way I looked at life was, I was so uncomfortable in the scenario I was in. I was so uncomfortable in the way my life was turning out, in the position I was in, seeing all these people do cool things, that I was prepared to take risks necessary to try and change it. And those risks were uncomfortable, but they weren't anywhere near as uncomfortable as the current uncomfort I was feeling in the position I was in at that moment. Does that make sense? And so when I say you need to be more uncomfortable with the fear of mediocrity than you need to be having the fear of failure, that's what it means. You need to be more uncomfortable in the situation you are now than the potential discomfort you're gonna get from having something or trying something and fucking it up and failing it. And that's what most people don't do. They're so scared of trying something and failing and potentially not getting the desired outcome that they don't do it in the first place. And that's a testament to the kind of person you are, because if you were as scared as I was, if you were tormented and unfulfilled as I was in the current life I had, it was non-negotiable. It was, I fucking hate life so much, I literally cannot go to sleep every night knowing there are people living lives I want to live. I will do anything it takes, no matter the discomfort, to try and get out of it. And that meant sending a shitload of outreach, trying loads of business models, going to places I didn't want to go, talking to people I didn't want to talk to, doing things I didn't want to do, getting left out, alienating my friends, being ostracized from my family. It meant doing loads and loads and loads and loads of uncomfortable things, but ultimately that was still more comfortable than being in the position I was currently in. And that's the decision you need to make. So yeah, success porn and all this fucking hustle culture and all these like gay mementos and all that stuff is true, but I think it ultimately comes down to you need to be introspective as a human being watching this right now in your bedroom, your kitchen, your living room, on your sofa, on your bed. I don't give a fuck if you're on your way to work and you need to sit there and listen to yourself and be introspective and think, am I going to be more uncomfortable risking something and trying it, or am I going to be more uncomfortable sitting in the current position I am in life? Because once you can decide which one is more uncomfortable for you, then you can make a decision and you can go, you know what, fuck it. This is risky and I really don't know if it's going to pull off and I really don't know what's going to happen. But the uncomfort I'm feeling right now is too intense to not do anything. And I feel like that's what some of you feel like. You're just like, yeah, I mean, you know, life isn't that good right now and I don't enjoy it that much, but you know, it's just good enough. It's just okay. It tips me over every month just enough and I have enough dopamine and enough happiness just about to not go and do something risky, to not go and pursue something else. And I think that's the 1% difference. That's the difference between some people which just say, right, you know what, fuck it, I don't care anymore. I'm literally gonna do anything it takes, because anything it takes is probably not as bad as the situation I'm currently in right now. Bro, I'm telling you now, I've said this story a million times. I would literally sit there at night until like 5 a.m. with my fucking roommate sitting next to me, listening to podcasts, trying to figure out a way to learn copywriting so I can make money. I was all in, loopy, didn't give a fuck, don't care. I'm gonna do this or I'm not gonna be able to do it and I'm gonna die of starvation. I don't give a fuck. Nothing can be worse than the current situation I'm in. And that was the decision I had to come to. And that's the decision you're gonna have to come to. I don't know what your scenario is. I imagine if you're watching me, you're trying to figure out something, you're trying to do something, good. But you need to listen to yourself and you need to actually be introspective and don't just think, oh, I wanna be successful. Do you wanna be more successful to the point where you are willing to sacrifice potentially ruining your entire life, to sacrifice your current life? Like, are you willing to try something which potentially is gonna end everything, end the stability in your life, end the certainty of things going well in your life, to try and pursue something else? Because the current situation you're living right now is so dire and so shit and so awful that whatever you try can't be as bad as what you're currently doing right now. That's the situation you need to be introspective about, and that's the situation you need to try and understand and see which one of those you are. Because mediocrity is, in and of itself, a plague, especially as life goes on. Like maybe 10 years ago, it wasn't so bad. Like you could barely open Instagram and it would barely load, and you barely might see someone rich, and you barely might see a hot girl, and you barely might see someone living an amazing life, and you barely might see this and that. Nowadays, if you open your phone, after 30 seconds, you are inundated with never-ending reasons and never-ending reminders that your life is shit and someone else is living a better life than you, and there is nothing you can probably do about it because you're a fucking loser and you'd rather be in the position you are right now. It is getting harder and harder and harder and harder. And I couldn't tolerate that. I'm telling you now, I'm in a position now and I still can't tolerate it. Back then I was like, I want to be able to do whatever I want all the time, no questions asked, and go wherever I want. And I can kind of do that now, but there's levels to the game and I still feel like that. Some of you are sitting there and you're comfortable where you are. You're looking at me thinking, Tom's got all this stuff and it's not making you angry. You don't have rage. I remember being you, watching people like me thinking, this fucking prick, how is he able to do that? I don't like that. That makes me uncomfortable. How does he have all this money? How can he go there? Why is he in Dubai for the 3rd time in a year? Why does he have all these girls? Why does he have all these opportunities? Why is he so abundant? What the fuck is going on? No, I don't like that. I need to do something. I have 115 pounds in my bank account and this dude's living life like a fucking cloud 9 experience. That's how I felt. And through sheer discomfort of that situation, I was willing to do and I was prepared to encounter any situation or any task ahead of me to ensure that that was no longer my existence and I could go and do something else. I'm telling you now, man, my situation was so dire and I was so unhappy in the position I was in. I genuinely, I'm not joking, I was sending 40 outreach a day. Fucking every single day. I sent over 1,000 outreach and I got maybe 20 replies because it was so bad. But even that was better because I knew that if I got one client, that was enough. That was enough for me to think, you know what, this is better than the current position I'm in. And a lot of you are sitting there and you want it, but you don't want it as bad as you want to stay in the current position you're in. And that's why you're staying in the same place. And I know I keep kind of repeating myself, but it comes down to that ultimate reality that some people have situations which they genuinely cannot be asked to wake up in the morning and deal with. They would rather do literally anything to get out of it. And the fact of the matter is if you don't do anything about it, you are going to be stuck in that mediocre lifestyle forever, because mediocre is just an average, right? Mediocre is just the average of the people around you. It's just how many people are doing roughly the same thing. 10 years ago, it was okay. Like, there was a couple people doing some cool things. Nowadays, everyone's either a complete fucking loser, like the guy that sent me a Snapchat, or they're living like me. There's basically no in between anymore. You are either completely depressed and hate your life entirely, or you are literally on a path to do whatever you want all the time. And that's the separation. Between that, there is nothing in between. And you have to look at your situation and think, am I prepared? Am I prepared to deal with the discomfort that is required of me to get to this position, over the discomfort I have to deal with right now? Because if you're not, then you're going to stay there forever. And so, like I said, be introspective. Think, you know what? Tom has an amazing life and all these people have amazing lives, and it probably took a lot of effort. P.S. It fucking did. Am I prepared to go through the stress and the trauma and the torment to get to that? Is that worth it over my current existence, or is it not worth it? Would I rather be a mediocre, wanking, fucking slum idiot dickhead and just deal with that existence over try and pursue another existence? Okay? Tea break. And the reason I say this again is because I have loads of friends, accomplices, let's call them, that saw me in that position and have now seen me in this position. And I remember I used to speak to them about this. I used to be like, yeah, so I'm going to do this, and I'm going to have all this money and go wherever I want, and my life's going to be amazing, and I'm going to do this and this and this and this and this. And they were like, yeah, I really want to do something like that too. And we talked for like 30 minutes, like, I'm going to do copywriting. I had a friend that was going to do Amazon FBA, and we had all these ideas and all these ambitions and all these things we were going to do and all these envisions. You know, like how we both wanted to do it. And then 15 months later, I don't know what he's doing. He's working in a pro shop selling Kit Kats to grandmas on Sundays in the fucking rain, making £13 an hour. And I'm here. It's like, how badly do you really want it? It's easy to talk. Obviously, it's harder to walk, but I feel like it's harder to stay. Like, it's easy to talk. It's not easy to walk, but fuck me, it's difficult to stay where you are, especially when you see people which are just excelling past you all the time. And that's all I saw. Constantly opening Instagram. Fuck, dude making more money than me. Fuck, guy with a hotter girlfriend than me. Fuck, guy that can go wherever you want. This is annoying. I cannot deal with this anymore. It's too fucking much. I will do anything it takes to get out of this existence where I'm now and get into that existence that I'm fucking seeing every day. And a lot of you aren't doing that. You're gonna watch this. You're gonna watch this right now. Click another video. Hopefully one of mine. But still, the point fucking stands. You're just gonna do something else. You're not gonna do anything about it. I couldn't do that. I'd watch a video and be like punching the table. Be like, how the fuck can he do this? This is unbearable. You know, and I had friends that wanted to do the same thing. You probably have friends that want to do the same thing, but when push comes to shove and talk comes to walk, eventually you're gonna see who's about it and who's actually just a fucking liar and doesn't want it, okay? And that's why I tweeted it, because I think that is the ultimate determiner between who's gonna be successful and who isn't. Who is more comfortable being mediocre than they are pursuing a life they really want? Because that's the reality you're gonna have to face. It's, I want to have this life, but that's really difficult. And you know what? I'd rather just have the life I currently have and deal with the difficulty of living it. And I couldn't do that. I'm telling you now, I would have done, if 15 months later, I still wouldn't have made it. I'd still be doing it, sending fuck knows how many outreach a day. It was literally get rich or die trying forever. Don't care. I'm going to do it forever. I don't care if I'm homeless. I don't care if I don't have a job. I'll move to Thailand. I'll live off ramen. I'll live off 20 bucks a day. I'm not going to live a life which I was living in that current moment. And a lot of you need to come to that decision, you know? So you can stay mediocre and live the current life you're living, which is probably discomfort and probably annoying, especially when you see my fucking face going around doing awesome shit all the time. Or you can think, you know what, this is too uncomfortable. I cannot take this anymore. It is unbearable. Fuck it. I'm gonna do anything it takes. Anything. Bro, you could have told me, I didn't give a fuck. So if you told me to dig a hole for fucking 10 grand a month, you give me the shovel, I didn't care, okay? I didn't care. I would have done anything it fucking took. And you can probably tell by how I vocalize and orate my points. I'm so adamant on that. And I'm so to the point because I knew exactly how I fucking felt. And it was, my life is too uncomfortable to live right now. Fine, brilliant. I'm gonna do anything it takes to get out of that situation, which was discomfort and uncomfortable. Believe me, okay? A lot of sleepless nights, a lot of sacrifices, a lot of people I didn't see anymore, a lot of people I had to cut off. But that was nothing compared to the life I was living. I'm telling you now, I took it to a point so extreme. My life, I didn't like it so much that I genuinely am not joking. I alienated my family. Like I didn't speak to them. Like it was more important for me to get out of the rut I was currently in and get out of that circumstance and that feeling of overwhelming shitness every day than it was to speak to my family. Like I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna work all day, every day. Forget my dad's birthday, never speak to my friends, because although that sucks, it still feels better than living that current life. And that's the decision you've got to make. And with that's going to come failure, which ties into the tweet again. It's going to come with a lot of failure. I've failed loads of times in the last 15 months. You know, I've only been doing this less than 2 years. I've failed loads of fucking times. I've lost loads of money. Okay? If I could go back and do things differently, I would. But I remember sitting there thinking, I don't care what failure it takes, what fucking plate of lessons life serves up to me, I'm gonna eat them with a knife and fork and spoon them up with my fucking tongue, because I don't care, okay? Failure is gonna come, good. You can positively reframe that, positively and cognitively reframe that, and see it as a benefit. So failure is a good thing anyway. And all the failures that come are just lessons you can learn in the future, okay? And you can take that and use it as experience to get better in the future as well. So any failure you're scared of, ultimately, if it scares you that much, your life clearly isn't shit enough. Because I'm telling you, when push comes to shove, it's gonna be, do I wanna live the current life I'm living, or do I wanna risk going through potentially loads of failures and potentially fucking up my entire life because it's better than what I'm going through right now, okay? So, that's the mindset you need to adopt. Like I said, I don't know you. I don't know what you're doing. I don't know your circumstance. I don't know how old you are, man, woman, in between, who gives a fuck? The fact of the matter is that all I know was that I either had to be mediocre and deal with that, which was really stressful and uncomfortable, or deal with the fact that I had to make some changes, and in doing so, risk a fuckload of time and a fuckload of energy and take loads of sacrifices and pursue something else. And you could tell me now, if I lost everything today, I would do it again in a heartbeat, okay? If you stripped everything away and you stuck me out on the street with fucking $20 to my name, and you were like, right, you can go and get a job, or you can go to university, you can go to a degree, and you can still open Snapchat and Instagram every morning at 8 a.m. before you go and do your shit job and watch people live an amazing life, what would you rather do? I would quit right then, and I would do whatever it fucking took to get out of that situation and get back to the position I'm in. Even if I knew it would take loads of sacrifices, and even if I knew it would take loads of risks, and even if I knew I would alienate my entire family, basically lose all my friends, and be stressed 24/7, 365 for the next 12 months. Because that is still more comfortable to me than the current existence I was living in, okay? So don't be afraid of failure, be afraid of the current existence you're living, because I guarantee if you're watching me, fuck it, some of you might be millionaires, cool, good for you, but the chances are you're not, okay? You're a fucking loser, which is why you're watching me. You need to get your shit together, okay? And that discomfort should propel you to have the courage to face the failures, okay? Because I'm telling you now, man, failure isn't that bad. It's just the unknown. It's like going up to a girl. Oh, hi, I like you. Oh, fuck off. Okay, bye. It doesn't matter. You just take the L and you move on. Okay, it doesn't matter. But if you stay where you are, please understand it is going to get worse and worse and worse. And the mediocre frame, that fucking bracket of people is just going to get larger and larger and larger. As it gets larger, it's going to get more and more difficult to escape. Like, I'm telling you now, when I started, there wasn't many people doing this copywriting stuff online. Now there's fucking dozens of you. Fucking 15-year-olds making 10 grand a month, teaching this. They're stealing my business model. Like, fucking, it's getting more difficult. So make a decision. And once you've made one, commit to it completely. Because if you don't, you're going to get left the fuck behind. Good. Stay on that side of the screen, watching my life. I'm on this side of the screen. Okay? All right. Get after it.